Hello, Meli. Are you there, Meli?
Meli,
Meli,
come back.
hello.
When when AI systems fail. Mm. I
Oh,
guess if Melly doesn't come back on, we're gonna unpack that right now.
well, what's up, girl? Do you want to join in on this conversation?
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that.
I'm
Hi.
back. Fun
Yeah.
technologies, fun.
Right? We were
Yes.
just saying, like, they work until they don't. Cool. All right. Well, Marie, take it away.
Yeah. Well, first of all, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And before we get too far into all of the things, tell us about yourself, where you are, where you're from, and yeah, all of the good things.
Oof, that's a that's a big question
Bit loaded.
about me. Little briefing about me. Well, my name is Meli. I'm originally from Medellin, Colombia. I lived 10 years in the US, and for a while I was a nomad all over the US. I have a background in economics and marketing. And on another side, I'm also very interested in movement and how movement help us reach our highest potential. So um, for me, movement is my way of connecting to my spirituality. So let's say that has been my gateway into that world. I started with a lot of yoga teacher trainings and then moved into coaching because one of my teachers blended those worlds beautifully and I wanted that. And in that process, I realized that one of my strong suits is that I'm good with systems. So um, I got a little bit tired of creating a lot of content and doing a lot of things manually. And I knew that at my work I was using and creating systems, etc. And I said, no, I have to go back and rebuild what I'm thinking in that sense. And in that process, I realized that a lot of practitioners and people that are what I call the one genius band, most of us don't have systems, and reason why we are prone to burnout, to doubt, to inconsistency, and it's not lack of anything, it's just is in the demands of today's world. It's very difficult unless you have then a team that is doing a lot of those things for you, but even in that case you're not maximizing your resources. So in that process too, like let's say the AI boom came along, and I've been studying AI for a while. And the reason why is funny because both of my parents are doctors and I helped my parents prepare for a conference way before the boom of ChatGPT. So I had it in my radar. When it came in, I was very curious and I started playing with it and how it affects systems. Systems and automations have existed way before, but this has opened some opportunities, amongst other things. So that's more or less. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Beautifully. And gosh, things came up from that, but I want to hear this first because we try to ask ourselves this. So we definitely want to know from you, especially when you're talking in the scope of the arena that you're in, the industry and the work that you do. What is it that you see? And I feel like you spoke a little bit on this just a bit, but I'd love to hear you elaborate more. Is the chaos that you see in that world or in that field?
Yeah. Well, this new AI hype, this is not the first one. It's actually the third one since the 50s. But it's made it accessible for all of or for a lot of us, right? And there's chaos at all levels, from enterprises because I work at enterprise level and for us with a smaller business. It's something that even people that are in charge of creating these models don't even know. Capabilities appear and they don't know what's going on. The anxiety about it at all levels from leadership is there because you you have moments where you have to decide, either I learn this thing, I do what I have to do, I teach my team what they need to, to learn. We build governance, we build ethics around this. It's a lot. And then the shiny object syndrome that all of us have always had, that has always existed, or has been heightened since, let's say, social media even more, it's now on steroids, because
Yeah.
we have so many possibilities. It doesn't mean that it's all there, and there's so much hype. There's a lot of hype, very little grounding, and I think there's a lot of reality check that needs to be done without getting pessimistic, because I am an AI enthusiast. I think it's important but it's important to know how to use it, when to use it, the guardrails, and what it's meant to do. And I was listening to one of your podcasts on the hacks, and that made me think about this, because I think the entire message of the hype is like, oh, you'll automate everything and you just go and live in Bali and don't do anything.
Yeah.
And this is not really true.
No.
Uh, Actually, there are studies that show that people are even working harder. Even people that are at the AI frontier, and I have this firsthand because I have someone really close to me that works at Microsoft, frontier of development, and she told me, no, I'm even working harder. So there's a lot of chaos, and there's ways to dance in that chaos, to know how to ride those waves. And I think to set up your boundaries towards, like, this is what I need to pay attention to. And it's okay that I'm going to be behind in some areas. This is what makes the most sense for me, for my business, for my personal development, for whatever it is that you're planning to use these tools for.
It's really hard to keep up, really hard. And like you said, not necessary. And that's what I would love to structure this conversation around too, specifically, because we could talk about all of the things, but for coaches specifically, because I know part of your business is helping coaches streamline their systems. And one of my questions is with all of the chaos of AI, what is the first thing you would recommend to somebody that's getting into this?
The first thing I do, and that I recommend anybody do a self-audit. Understand your business. Even the first exercise that I do for people that I have casual conversations to, even the ones that run an audit with me, is, it can be annoying, but go about your week with a little paper. I even have a form where you go, and every 15 minutes you have a timer and you see what you're doing. That's going to give you the first signal of how am I investing my time. So it's already great in that sense, but also it start to tell you this is something that could be systematized, could be improved. And I think there's an important differentiation there to make, because in the hype messaging, we hear automatize, automatize. It's not just about that. There's a lot of opportunity in augmentation. And I think one of the better questions that we can ask ourselves is, how can I better serve? How can these tools, yes, can help me be more rested, not do too much admin. So when I have more time to be present with my clients, to be creative, to create, download, bring to life new products, new ways to serve.
Two quick things.
First, we are working our asses off over here, as always, to bring you fresh chaos every week. Do us a solid, like, subscribe, rate, review, so the algorithm keeps us open and available to all of you, so that you keep seeing us and we keep doing what it is that we love to do.
Second, we run a weekly container for women who are done deliberating and ready to execute. It's called the Accountability Club. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like.
If you're a service provider, a coach, or a content creator, this space is for you.
Inside, you're going to get weekly calls where we actually do the work. There's no modules, there's no passive content. It's just showing up and getting shit done together. You're going to be in a private community for unfiltered feedback, drafts, shower thoughts. You'll have direct access to Amari and myself and to other women who won't let you stay stuck, because you're going to get that unshakable knowledge that someone's going to ask you every Tuesday if you did the thing.
You'll also get 11 weeks worth of business training that will take you from chaos to clarity to finally launch the thing.
We're taking members soon, so get on the wait list now by clicking the link in the show notes.
Come get shit done.
And just because the media question that I ask myself, oh, does it mean that this is going to replace me? Not at all. Not at all. There's a lot of reasoning why, but I don't want to make this answer too long.
You're fine. That's what we have you here for.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing that I think in a process of auditing, that's where I bring in my economics background. I think it's important to ground. I like to ground things in numbers, even if they're just benchmarks, and understand what is going to give you, yes, very businessy term, but I think one of the most useful ones is ROI, your higher return on investment. I am a projector. My energy needs to be very well allocated. So
Okay.
I pay a lot of attention to that. And then it's a matter of sequencing. Some of the things that happen when I am with one of my clients is that I work with very creative people and they want to do so many things at, all the time. That's fantastic. But what happens is a lot of them are doing a lot of trying to do too many things at the same time. Then they get tired. The entire business goes down, goes quiet for a while, and then rebirth and on and on. And I can also tell this from my own experience. I'm not just saying from outside. So it's having and being okay and surrendering to the fact that there is an effort that right now is going to give you a higher return, that is going to give you more resources that later are going to open more doors for more creativity and hopefully for a team and more resources for you to be more creative.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a lot of the concern. It's one of my concerns, anyhow, is I don't want automations or AI to take away the creativity. That part for me is the fun part. I want to use my own brain. I want to have my own ideas. And while I can share that with AI and it can refine it, it also feels like it's taking it out of the equation a little bit. Why would we take out the fun parts of our job? So
Yeah.
can you give like a specific example of one of these systems that a coach like that you help build that a coach could really capitalize on?
Yep, there's several. I'm gonna tell you one of my favorite ones. I believe in email marketing big time, and I think very little people pay attention to that one.
Mm.
So let's think of it as any other platform, right? It depends on your moment of your business, but something that I think we should always do, whether we're getting downloads directly from Inspirit or not, we are in a conversation with our audience or our potential audience. And listening is the first principle of compassion. So if we use technology to listen better and see what people are actually interested in, they might be asking themselves the wrong questions, but that's the right carrot that you need to like, let me give you that
Mm.
answer to the question that you have right now or you think you have. But here's the real solution. What's the underlying problem out there? Because I think as humans, when we don't understand what's going on, we're good at describing symptoms, but we might not be that great at discovering root cause. And it's okay because for that we need help and we need experts. So that's fantastic. So the first layer of that system is go and scrape different public sites, social media, etc., and see what people are actually asking, including LLMs. What people are asking. What do they need?
Mm.
And from there match how you're going to respond to them depending on your platform. Let's say email. I'm a big fan. Like every time I do an audit, I can tell you with certainty it's around 90% that I find that people are underutilizing their database assets. That's
Mhm.
a really sad thing. The real
Mhm.
sell and the real connection happens there. So then after that, you understand this. Next layer, you use that for research. And here's the creative part that nobody can take you away. I teach my systems to interview me. I don't just go and take like, oh, people are asking about how to build social media systems. No, I interview myself on walks. So I put it and I talk and I record myself. Walking is when you're more creative. I go on a walk and I answer all those questions. And that's a different session. From there comes some planning that is going to try to meet both my or my clients' business goals with what's going on with the world, and my response. We do a planning, and from that planning, then we create the titles, and then there's optimization for all those moments that are critical in when people are interacting with content. In Instagram, that's the famous hook. Now you need 2 hooks. Even better if you have kind of 3 and you keep open loops so people keep on watching what you're doing. So
Yeah.
yes.
It's a
Yeah.
it's
It's
an
a world.
interesting world.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
just so I'm clear on that process though before you continue. So
okay.
you will scrub some sites, figure out what the problems are and figure out what people are asking about, and then you get your AI to interview on what your solution to those problems would be?
My
Cool. I
take
love
on
that.
it,
Mhm.
etc. Yeah. And then from there we plan and then we develop. And then
Yeah.
if you want to make it even more automated, then you can add a protocol. I don't want to get too technical here, but there's a protocol that then helps you upload that and then learns from the results. And there's other protocols that are really interesting that are self-learning. So when in marketing you have key performance index or metrics that help you know if things are doing well or not. They're indicators. So you choose one, for example, open rate. That would be your first thing. And it starts learning from the emails that got higher open rates. What is the things that make people open it? So you learn the formulas, but that's like a structure. You fill in with your creativity. I mean,
Yeah.
from yoga, I love the idea of like you need a structure to then be flexible. And I think the same for creativity. I agree with you, Jill. Like in this process, I've become very, I've tried to take care of my creativity. So I've been doing creative writing lessons for more than a year now,
Amazing.
like by hand,
Yeah.
right? But what I found, which is what's interesting, there's the parallel, is in my creative writing lessons, my teacher always gives me a lot of constraints. And that's what makes me even more creative. So within those rules that we find that are already working for people, that's our constraint. We can be creative within them. We help AI is not really intelligence. That is a marketing term. AI is a software really, really good at prediction making. That's what it's doing.
Mm.
So if that prediction and analyzing patterns that our eyes don't know how to spot immediately, and it helps us feeling that a structure, then we can weave in our creativity. And that's where I think things become powerful.
Ooh, I love this.
This I would love to hear another sort of way for it to support.
Yeah. And
so I
before we move away from email marketing though too, I will like agree. I love sending emails to people on my list. And my open rate, like I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it because I feel like my followers are loyal. My open rate's over 50%.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
know.
Way, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there were 100 people, but 50 of them are opening it, which to
And
me,
enjoying and
that's enough.
clicking and
Yeah,
yeah, like that's a success. That's a win. Like we don't need to have hundreds of thousands of followers and people connecting right now in the beginning of businesses. It's about building strong relationships. And I think that's another maybe topic of concern for people using AI is that how do you build a relationship that isn't capable of holding a relationship, you know?
Mm,
There's a middleman. When the middleman isn't capable of that, then where's the real connection?
that's a good question. I actually I think there's systems that help with that to help us reminding us follow up, but the follow up needs to come from us, from the heart. It's not that
Mhm.
just have an automated thing that follow ups with everyone and I don't even know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
No, not at all. I mean, there's that in the AI world. There's terms for that. It's called humans in the loop, on the loop, or completely automated. I think,
Mm.
especially for the sort of work that we do, humans in the loop are it's really important. And I agree with what you said. Growing any business, the more I work with my clients, I see me all my ventures, businesses grow way faster when you pay attention on creating those relationships, not posting more. That's the reality. Yes, that can bring success. I'm not taking away from that. But realistically, that won't change. And it would even be more valuable now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the purpose too of the posting more and even in your sense, the creating the systems and using AI is to get us in front of or in relationship with those people so that we can hold that connection. It's there to help us get to our main goal, which is to talk to people, to work with people. It's not to be, I mean, for me at least, and I don't think for any professional, it's not to necessarily be seen on Instagram or to be known on YouTube. Like those aren't the ultimate goals. The reasons why behind them is because we're using these as tools to get us the connections that we're looking for.
Right.
Yep.
And maybe they are for some people or some industry if you have something to sell, right? Or not. I mean, we have something to sell, but you know what I mean? Like a retail item, something like that. But this is different. We're coaches. Like we are all about connection and growth and mindset and helping. And that's only going to happen person to person.
I've asked this to a lot of coaches that if they didn't have to do social media, would they still do it? If I could guarantee them that they didn't have to do social media and they would just get their clients and those connections, would they do it? Most of them say no. So it's, as you said, it's not the ultimate reason. It's one of the avenues to build those connections, but it's not and there's nothing wrong with it. There's some beautiful things also from sharing, etc., and being a broadcast, but its name says it. Social media. Oh, you are more.
Tell us
So
more.
yeah. I made a guide because I was overwhelmed learning all. I mean, there's so many systems, automations, things, tools that you can buy, etc. So I made a group. I grouped them in 6 categories. I called them Soren systems, and the first one is clarity. I think one of the goals or one of the challenges that we have as One Genius bands is that we sit down and we don't know what we're going to do right now. So for that one, I built what I call a second brain, and it's like keeping me in check on prioritization, on following up with who I need to follow up, on not staying on a strategy and high levels, and helping me research things and helping me stay up to date and classify. I build a logic that is like, go to all these things, make sure that is the most important for me, give me a summary, tell me the ones that I need to go and read it and watch it all. So it's doing that, but I still go, I still learn. It's not just giving me a bunch of summaries that then I have no substance, And it has its own memory that I built towards it with more logic to help me. So when I go into a session with my client, I don't have to by memory remember. I just go check, like, okay, this is what we agree on. This is what they say they would do. I'm still taking notes by hand. I'm comparing them with those, but it just helps me stay up to date. So based on that, and because of what I've seen, it's hard for us to keep momentum in businesses. I base my program on that. It's called momentum coaching, and that's what I do. This system helps me like keep track. I check in with my clients every day. Are they implementing? That's my main goal. Are they implementing? So that's an augmentation system. It's not just to make me faster. And my conversations with them are written by me. It's my hands. I'm the one saying, I'm the one giving the feedback. But that helps a lot, and it helps me not get in the shiny object situation a lot.
Yeah.
Because
It's like your little accountability buddy.
oh yeah, it checks with me like, it looks like you are on Cloud Code designing this app that you have the dream to do, but you're not working on preparing for this for your client. So go back to that. I've programmed it to that, and it's worked really well. So it keeps me in check too. So that's for clarity. Visibility is the example that we talked about. That's one of you, but you can do the same for YouTube, for Instagram, whichever one of those. And then I think email lives between visibility and revenue. I believe it's more revenue. And revenue is when you get all this information and you start making those connections that then lead to the conversations that will become your clients. So that's another system that helps you find those people, that helps you offer them value. I believe in offering value first. Offer, like, really, like, show. If I'm going to tell you that I'm good at creating YouTube strategy, I'm not going to give you all the million reasons why you need to do YouTube strategy. You probably already know. I'm just going to give you an example. Here's a well planned episode. This is what you need to do. These are best standards for you based on all of these things. Here you go. Go record it. Does it work for you? Okay. That person, I gave them value. I built something from them. They get a taste of what I can do. And then we all have delivery. We need to deliver to our clients. I think that's the augmentation. And we don't need to be like super black and white. Some of these systems, the idea is that they all talk together and they are intertwined. So delivery is like, okay, what did I say that I was going to do? I said I'm going to build an entire CRM plus call strategy for my client. It's helping me create that and being as clear as possible with that. Also, onboarding. It's something that a lot of people lose interest in, what in communities, in courses. How many of us, I think we can all raise our hand, have bought a course that we never even open or finish or
Right.
past 20 or 10%. So when we have good onboarding and we can keep people interested because we know there's value once they start doing what we're trying to teach them, that is really valuable. Then we have operations, our basic admin, fun as it is.
Yeah.
And it helps with
Whee!
that. Yay. And part of operations, there's a leg of it, is maintaining your entire piece, your entire system. Maybe a solopreneur doesn't need to pay too much attention to that, but here's a simple one. I think a lot of us overuse the memories of our computers, and we don't clean them that frequently. We can build, I have a super little system that is connected to my brain that tells me on Friday, go and erase everything in your downloads, or I can do it for you. And every month you need
Yeah.
to do this, every 3 months this, and every 6 months this. How many times have we faced frustration with our beloved computer that does so much for us because we are not using it the right way? That's a simple operation system that can
We
take
were
away.
literally just talking about this when you dropped off earlier because I was like, I don't even know half of this shit that is on my computer.
Yep. Yep. When was it? Last week I did an audit for my computer. 64% I didn't need. Needed to go.
Wow. Interesting.
Those are examples. Do you have questions? Do you want more examples?
No, these are great because they are simple, because I feel like a lot of people, especially probably the ones that are listening here, are kind of like in new places where they're still setting things up or establishing themselves, or like even just a baseline. And so, these are really helpful for that. And I'm sort of curious to know what your take would be when I love a good audit. That's one of the first things that I do for myself and also with my clients. Like, that's our step one, is an audit. So I love that. But when the audit is complete, how is it that someone is going to know that a system is required for this, or that they're ready for an automation? Like, is there a signal or a sign or a place where they're like, okay, this is no longer feasible for me?
Yep. So, I have my methodology for auditing. And as I told you, first I go and see what exists. What are your assets, your knowledge? There's so many things that we have that we don't even know, that we're undervaluing. And then from there, I also do, as I told you, a time audit. I compare that with benchmarks and the goals. The goals of your client too are going to tell you what is the gap between what exists and wants to be brought into existence. And that's when you start deciding, okay, so if these are the goals, how is the fastest way to get there? Not everything needs AI and needs necessarily a complicated automation. Part of the methodology that I built in this guide that I mentioned is you start with a seed. On a start, if you notice that you do something 2 or 3 times a week, go take note. What are your steps of that? And then I divided that process in understanding your seed, then your seedlings, and then once you need that bigger system. Honestly, some of my systems are just to-do list or skills that I built in normal Claude or Claude Cowork or something like that. They don't need a huge automation. Some do. Once they are more mature, and I've realized like I really know how to do this. I know the result I have. All the benchmarks are clear. This needs to be automated, and this is going to free this much time, or this is going to improve my relationship with my clients in this way. So usually one thing I think that may have happened to a lot of us, especially if any of you have worked in marketing, is that you hear everybody audit here, there, and you're like, then what? So I believe that an audit is not complete if it doesn't come with a roadmap. So what I do is immediately comes with a 3 months roadmap. No more than that, because then I think we're in the crystal ball world. And even 3 months, it's a little bit uh, optimistic, but I'm a Sagittarius, so optimism is part of who I am. So I think a roadmap, and the roadmap, all the projects that are organized there, then I create a prioritization matrix based on what is a quick win. That is so important. What is a foundation, meaning higher effort, but also high return? What is something of a not so great return? So based on that, I prioritize. And then I build a sequence. Like you imagine a Gantt chart. First, this month we do this, that month we do that. Especially if they're dependencies, that's when you need to sequence things well. And from there, I like to download it even to the day level. So I believe in sprints. That's very like project management,
Yeah.
Jill knows. So I build 15 days or even say 7 day sprints where there's an ideal of what I'm supposed to be doing every day to get to that goal. Yay, we're celebrating.
Oh,
We got the goal. So it's really divided in smaller tasks. And even when I go sit down and work, I see like how can I divide this even more? And even a system within a system. It's a system mentality. It's not just that we can do in a computer. It's like creating for ourselves a systems habit, a systems mentality. So that's like the entire process. So in the beginning, you have usually my conversation starts with my client saying, I have this lofty goal. I'm like, that is a really cool goal. Here's how we're going to bring that goal. That means that in 2 weeks on Monday, you're sitting down and doing this. You want that goal?
creating those constraints to, the systems mentality. I love that term and I love that concept just as a statement, because it is easy for solopreneurs, especially solopreneurs, to just go about their day, to just sit at the computer, fill it, doing whatever random tasks. I think there's a real miss when things like this, either number one, don't get systematized, or number two, aren't documented. Because if we can document right from the get, then when you do grow and you do eventually hire and you do create other systems or bring in other people to help you with your work, that stuff is done. Not only is it done, but it's been changed and magnified and what word am I looking for? Just like improved over time.
Yeah.
Right. And you've learned, and not only have you learned, but now you're sharing that knowledge with anyone else that's coming in. That will take such a load off of you when the time comes.
Yeah.
I think that's such an overlooked. I mean, we teach that in our business program about documentation and operating procedures and all of that kind of stuff. Like, it doesn't matter what it's for either. Have a procedure and have a certain practice and write that shit down.
Yeah. And I think it also speaks to the necessity for the application and the implementation. Like there has to be also results and data to feed from to know where I need to be, like, where do I need to set something up? Where do I need to still exist? Like a lot of us, and I'm including myself because I see this in me, is that we are planning from future things that haven't even existed yet, or something that we haven't even done or really know anything about. So It's like you're trying to create a system and get an automation of something that you don't even know the process of, right? You haven't sat
Mhm.
down to write the email, to do the thing, to send to the person, to get the contact. So it's like start with the simple thing of the act itself, getting something in front of you in order to get to that stage.
Yeah.
Like there are
The reverse engineering
steps.
Yeah.
of the main desire, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And get
Cool.
the thing done. Because I think I go back to that episode of the two of you on the hack. Because now, like, oh no, I can just go and do it with AI. And what I've been finding a lot too is that people get this and getting like overly engineered things
Mhm.
that don't need to be overcomplicated, or planning mode, no production, and then we're shying away from the difficult part, which is putting it out there, getting that feedback.
Mhm.
Oh, it didn't work. Go back, as you were saying, up, right? Like, get that data. And to get that data, you have to put things out there. That's the only way that your process is going to get the very desired feedback loop. And that
Mhm.
requires us being
More
brave.
refined. Yeah.
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 Mhm. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, and being brave is such a statement. Just go do it. And like we talk about it. I mean, we're not going to bring it up right now because we talk about it almost every episode.
There's our motto.
Just that mindset trap. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to make it impossible for your nervous system. Like, you start with your small people, you know, it doesn't need
Oh,
to, like, here I am world. Also, we have this thing, I think it's also a result of our beloved social media. We think that everybody's looking at us and that we're seeing, like, there's
yeah.
this stage of judgment. Like, we wish that's the problem we want to
It's
have.
fivefold, right?
Yeah.
We think everyone's looking at us and we're like, no, please don't look at us. But also, can you look at this? Because I
Look at
made
this.
it.
Yeah. And
We
also judge
want
me.
you to like it.
Yeah, and also just judge me. I was on a client call earlier today and someone was saying about, just, "Oh, it's just so tough to get out there and I'm feeling nervous and this and that." And it's like, I have been rejected so many times in my life. Like I get rejected on the daily. Like maybe not person to person, but rejection from social whatever it is. I can feel and spot the rejection coming at me in all angles. And great. Because all it is telling me this worked for this amount of people and not for that amount of people. Or this worked and that didn't work. Feedback, feedback, feedback. And the more that you do it, the more the rejection just it bounces off anyways. It doesn't fucking matter. It
Yeah.
doesn't fucking matter. So it's like the sooner you can just go out and do the thing and realize that it didn't kill you, you're still here, you're fine, you've learned something, carry on. Rip the fucking band-aid, you know? That shit pisses us off.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
I want to hear from your perspective on this specifically because you mentioned movement and yoga and all of these things. And how do you see those two things, or how do you incorporate those two things together, the movement piece, but then this systemization? I think you spoke a little bit, but I want to hear.
Yeah.
Good question.
Well, there are several elements. My second brain reminds me every 50 minutes that I need to stand up.
Ah.
And I use this wearable. It's called Whoop. And it helps me know um, what's my level of strain that I should go on any given day. Before, I used to burn myself. I love movement. I love dancing. I've danced for a long time. And so if I feel a little bit of energy, I can go and leave it all in the dance floor, as I say, and then don't have anything left. So that's something that systems have helped me. Like, I understand how much is there in the tank, and I don't need to, just leave it all. Uh,
Mhm.
and then when you work in computers, and especially these days with all these tools, to me, they're pretty addictive as well. And
Yeah.
hours can pass because, like, oh yeah, I got this done, like, what's next, and hours can pass and you're sitting down, and then you wonder why I'm cranky, why I'm hungry or thirsty, or why is this thing not working anymore, and why it's not understanding my prompts. Because then we are overusing our main system.
Mhm.
you know
Mhm.
So that has been important. To me, there's something that has been very religious. I do my practice in the morning before I interact with screens. That takes good an hour and a half to 2 on normal days. If I am too busy, at least 30 to 45 minutes. And I wake up very early to guarantee that I have that. That's a very important thing for me because then I start getting bitter if I don't.
Hmm.
So that's a big,
That projector bitterness. Yeah.
oh yeah, very.
I
uh,
notice it from Mari when
What?
she doesn't.
Crazy.
yeah,
Crazy.
you
Yeah,
don't
no.
want to.
Tina will go like 2 hours long. It's like I wake up at 6:30 and I'm done at 10 a.m. It's
Yeah,
fucking wild.
Yeah.
you need it, and that's fine. I wake up like earlier than that because I want the world to be quiet. No phones,
Yeah.
nothing bothering me. I call it my queen of the world time.
Mm.
And it's, there's a very famous systems world with all the atomic habit. It is a system. It's a
Yeah.
habit system. So systems is not something new because of computers. We have been building systems for so long because we know we need them
Right.
Yeah.
to make sure that we become that person that we think we want to be. So that part is critical.
Amazing. So, do you want to share with our audience what you have going on right now?
Yeah. Well, I have a few things, but the main thing where I think I can bring value is that guide. It's called Soren System. And the idea is that it helps you create and document these systems from like your to-do list all the way to if you're using, which is what most people interaction with AI is, how to organize your chats and start building the seeds and seedlings for your own system. So there, I give you a lot of instructions and a lot of prompts for anyone who is ready and know that they need an audit. That's like my favorite thing to do. And from audits, depending on the maturity of a business, I would either recommend this program that I call Have Momentum Coaching. It's based on the audit. We build that roadmap of 3 months, and we meet just for 20 minutes. It's all about implementation. And I have live support too because I know there's a lot of tech things that get people stuck, and I'm very good at figuring those things out, and I have done that because of the nature of my job. So it's about that. And as you mentioned, we work on our own, and it's so important to have another set of eyes. Sometimes that's what unlocks the next thing. For people that have more mature systems, businesses, I have done for you um offerings too. So go and build things for them.
So good. Yeah. We will leave all the ways to get in touch with you.
This has been such a great conversation. You can see, I think my cheeks hurt because I've been smiling all the time.
Always.
Yeah, it's
It's how
been
we
so
always end.
informative. Yeah, and
Yeah.
helpful. So,
Yeah.
thank you for being
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
If this conversation sparked anything, any form of curiosity in your brain,
Yes.
share
So
it, like
if
it,
it
subscribe.
triggered you in either direction, if you felt
Yeah.
compelled by it, either in agreement or you are fucking mad at whatever the fuck we
Mad.
said, subscribe.
Yeah.
Love us. Hate us.
Love it.
Go in the comments. It doesn't matter. We would love it to be subscribed, but it doesn't have to be.